Hey, great to be here with you. And I think, like Meg sort of mentioned, this is going to be a real tough call. I think people are sort of grasping at the straws, hoping that the FDA makes a surprise decision, sort of like how they did last year with Biogen because of the unmet need. Look, I think that's a real tough call. We're not making a strong call on that, but I know there's some hope that, again, the FDA is under pressure to do a lot of these things.
I know at the time you were quite hopeful about Aduhelm, but we have seen a pretty bad kind of aftertaste from that decision, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So again, I think we're still under the view that FDA still does want to do these things for patients and patient advocate groups, appreciating it's a unique time. So we are in a difficult times, and I'm sure we're going to talk about Biogen.
Yeah, and you'd think, okay, then this is not exactly a breakout moment for biotech, but suddenly, and Brian Reynolds actually flagged this to us, he said it's one of the areas of the market overall that he's kind of seeing some breakout behavior lately. What would you attribute that to?
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. If you go back over the last 6 to 12 months, it's obviously been pretty terrible for biotech. And I'd sort of like to say, well, we've already had our punishment, so you've seen a lot of the other sort of growth sectors of the economy sell off. Biotech has already really taken a lot of that brunt, particularly in January and February. So number one, look, I think there's a lot of short-term traders believing we could get a bounce here because it's oversold. Number two, I do think a lot of people believe M&A is still in the cards, both from big pharma, Pfizer, particularly making a lot of comments around M&A. And so I think there's a lot of hopeful thoughts on the oversold conditions here.
And, for those who kind of want to sidestep the COVID pipeline or, there are people who want to bet on that, and that's fine. There are also people who say, what's going on with the rest of the industry? Where are your favorite plays right now?
Yeah, well, I'd like to believe that as much as the sector has sold off, and some of these names, Fate or ZLAB or even Vertex, if you look sort of a 12-month chart, Moderna, these are all stocks that have had huge sell-offs. We do look to believe that fundamentally not a lot has actually changed. So names like Vertex, which we have called out, we added to our franchise top picks list in December. Stock's up, I think, 16% year to date, and still think that can move higher. Names like Fate, which has had more than a 50 or 60% pullback. That stock can bounce back with a rally in the XBI. And even something like ZLAB, which China stocks and China biotechs have had a huge pullback. But again, one to bounce, particularly if there's a rally back in the XBI. And
anything you would specifically avoid before we go?
Look, I think what we're seeing is Moderna, still hold rated, still can have a pullback. But what we have been saying, even though Moderna can pull back, is it does start to get interesting at a 50 billion cap or down at low $100 level. Moderna will start to get very interesting. A lot of stuff there, but still so many people focus on just COVID this year.
Absolutely. Michael, great to have you today. Thanks so much.